Okay, so don't be nervous, but everything that you've done in your entire career has led to this very, very moment. No pressure at all. Let's just get this thing started, shall we?
Hey guys, how's it going? 100 episodes. I never thought I'd ever make it here, but here we are. I can't believe I've made that many videos, but I'm proud. I'm very proud of this, and it's thanks to all of you for liking and subscribing and just, helping me keep this going. Working a full-time job and doing this. Sometimes it's not easy to balance out, but, I do this because it's fun. I'm enjoying it, and I just really wanted to just share recipes with people and make them happy. And this channel has made a lot of people happy, and it's made me happy, so thank you very much for that. So for this episode, I wanted to do something fun. And from the very beginning, I knew I wanted to make a pizza, because pizza's like my thing. It's my favorite food to eat, and it's also my favorite thing to make. And I wanted to do just something out of the ordinary, and I was thinking, what could I do? What could be a fun pizza to make besides just a plain pepperoni pizza? So I was kicking it around, and I like chicken cordon bleu. I like pizza. Let's make a chicken cordon bleu pizza. Which is funny because I've never made chicken cordon bleu on this channel. But in the future I will. This isn't going to be my last episode. I'm going to keep making videos after this. Just want to make that clear. So in the future I will make a chicken cordon bleu, a traditional chicken cordon bleu episode. But anyway, we have a lot to do. We're making everything from scratch. So let's get started.
So like every pizza video that I have ever made, we're making the dough, and we're starting off with water, obviously. I'm going to put in brown sugar. Now, sugar helps the dough to brown in the oven. When it becomes crust, it caramelizes and it becomes nice and brown. Now, I don't know if you've noticed lately, but I haven't really been putting sugar in my dough because I just kind of prefer it without it. But this is a special episode, and I figured why not use brown sugar instead of regular sugar and just be fancy. I can't think of any other way to explain it. I just wanted to do something different. And, spoilers, but it did come out very good, and it made a very nice and crispy crust. But as I'm making my dough here, like I always do, adding salt, olive oil, warm water, and active dry yeast after I put in the sugar, and I'm just going to flour the work surface so that I can knead this a little bit more. And I'm going to cut it in half. This recipe will make 2 pizzas, or just one giant pizza if you wish. And you can do this entire recipe by hand, by the way. You don't have to use a stand mixer for this, but it will take longer and it will be a little bit messier. And after putting this in an oiled bowl and covering it, it's going to rise for 2 hours.
So now that the pizza dough is done, let's make the sauce.
In a small saucepan, I've got some unsalted butter, and I'm just going to let that melt completely. After it melts, I'm going to add some white onion that I chopped up earlier. And I just want to note that when you're making this sauce, make sure that the onions are cooking in the butter for at least 10 minutes before you add the other ingredients. Otherwise, you're going to be crunching down on onion and you don't want that. I'm going to add some fresh minced garlic, and I'm just going to cook that for another couple of minutes, just until the garlic starts to brown before I add my all-purpose flour. And the all-purpose flour is to make a roux out of this, and this is going to be the thickening agent for our sauce. And it wouldn't be a sauce without the liquid ingredients. I've got some chicken broth here, and I'm also adding some milk. You can use any type of milk that you want, and I'm just going to slowly pour this into my roux, just a little bit at a time. And then when you see it thicken, go ahead and add the rest of your milk and keep whisking until it thickens up. And a good way to see that your sauce is done is to take a spoon, let it coat the back, and you're good to go. Now, I'm going to add some salt and pepper to this, but I'm also adding a little bit of Dijon mustard. And the Dijon mustard is going to give this a nice tangy taste, but you don't want to add too much. You don't want it to overpower the taste of the sauce. Give that a good taste, see if you need a little bit more salt and pepper. And this is tasting pretty good, so I think we're ready to go on to the next thing. Next up is chicken, and wait a minute, that's not my chef uniform. What the heck?
Continuity error.
Yeah, look, we're making a cooking video, not Citizen Kane, okay? Anyway, I'm going to take this chicken breast, I'm trimming off some of the fat, and with some plastic wrap and a meat tenderizer, I'm going to tenderize the chicken. This is going to help it make it nice and juicy. Take off the plastic wrap, and this is going to go onto a baking sheet that I lined with tinfoil, small baking sheet. And I'm just going to season it with some salt and pepper, and I'm also adding some paprika. I also wanted to add an herb to this, so I added some dried oregano. And then I'm going to take some olive oil and drizzle that on top, and I know I can't make a recipe without olive oil. I love this stuff too much. Anyway, go ahead and rub that into your chicken, and then after you're done on that side, we're going to flip it over and do the exact same thing again. And rub that in there. And this is going to go into a 350 degree Fahrenheit oven for 30 minutes, but make sure you put a meat thermometer in there and make sure that the temperature of your chicken is 165 degrees Fahrenheit in the thickest part. Anywho, when that's all done and the chicken is cooled off, I'm just going to dice this up, and after I am done, I'm just going to put that to the side, and we're on to the next thing. Now, one of the ingredients that we have to use for this is ham, and I'm using a off-the-bone ham, and I'm taking every single slice, I'm just rolling it up, taking my chef's knife, and basically just making smaller slices. And I'm just going to keep them round like this. I figured that would look good on top of the pizza. Next is cheese. And I couldn't decide between mozzarella or Swiss, so I'm going to use both, because the Swiss doesn't have as much salt as the mozzarella does, and the mozzarella melts very, very well, so I decided to do a mix of both cheeses. I'm going to grate them both by hand, and you do want to use block cheese. You do not want to use pre-shredded cheese because that stuff is coated in potato starch and we do not want that. Trust me, I've been saying it from the very beginning that you want to shred your own cheese, so please do that. It's not that expensive. If anything, it's actually cheaper. Yeah, it takes more time, but you get a better result in the end. And while I was doing all this, I decided to listen to some music. I have a feeling that you're judging me very, very hard right now. Next, we're getting our cast iron pan ready, and as you know, I love using the cast iron pan to make pizzas now. I get perfect results every time. As you can see, our dough rose very, very much, and it looks fantastic, and it smells fantastic too. I just love the smell of pizza dough. And in case you were wondering, yes, we are using more olive oil. I'm going to drizzle that into my pan. Go ahead and spread that out, and we're going to put our dough in the pan, and this is going to rise for another half hour. And the reason why you want that is because after you're flattening it out like this, you want to create some more bubbles in there. So I think half an hour is good. You can go a full hour if you want, but you eventually want to eat this pizza, right? Another thing too is I'm taking my pizza stone, and what this is going to do is that when we put our pizza in the oven, it's going to help the bottom brown a lot better while it's in the cast iron pan. I'm going to preheat my oven to 550 degrees Fahrenheit and let that pizza stone get very, very hot. Anyway, after half an hour, our dough looks fantastic. It's spread out a little bit more. Press it down just a little bit, and now it's time to add our sauce, which thickened up a lot more, and mainly that's because I put this in the fridge, but if you're making this right away, it's not going to be this thick. But oh man, this smells so good. I'm just going to spread it around my dough. Don't be afraid to get it to the edges as well. It's going to help your crust get a little bit crustier. I'm going to add some of my chicken, and then next is the ham, and I'm actually going pretty heavy on the ham here. And then I'm going to top this with my cheese mixture. When you're making a pizza in a cast iron pan, you really do not have to be shy with the toppings here. You can go as crazy as you want. And then after drizzling some more olive oil on top, this is going to go into my 550 degree Fahrenheit oven for 10 to 12 minutes. I'm going to put that on top of my pizza stone. And by the way, if you don't have a pizza stone, that's totally fine. You can just brown this on the stovetop for a couple of minutes and just keep an eye on it. You don't want it to burn. And halfway through baking, I'm actually going to move the stone to the other side of the oven and let the other side bake, because you want the whole thing to bake evenly. You don't want one side to be more brown than the other. You want a nice even crust. And I gotta tell you, I'm finally happy that this is in the oven because I am exhausted. I have been cooking all day. It's time to drink some wine and watch one of my favorite cooking movies. Because as much as I love listening to music while I cook, I have to pop this on every once in a while. And I heard a ding. I think our pizza is ready. And doesn't that look glorious? But we're not done yet. First of all, I want to show you the bottom. I want you to see how nice and brown this got. Doesn't that look great? It looks like something right out of a pizzeria. And I'm going to top this with some Parmesano Regiano. I know this is a very American thing to do, but this isn't exactly authentic pizza, so let's have fun with this. It's a party. And after that, I'm going to top this with some fresh Italian parsley. You could just use plain parsley if you want to. And I just wanted to dress it up a bit, make it look nicer. And oh man, I cannot wait to dig into this. It smells so good. Listen to that. Ugh. All right, we got to dig in. We need to taste this thing. Was it all worth it? Was it all worth the wait? And the answer is, well, I know I'm not biting into it yet, but yes, it is worth it. I took that first bite, and oh God, guys, it's super delicious. I felt like a little kid eating pizza for the first time again. It really was a great experience, and just cooking all day, knowing that everything was made from scratch, it just made me more proud of this. And I just want to point out that this isn't my first attempt at this pizza. I made a lot of different versions of this pizza before I got to this one. In fact, I think this was number 5 or 6. And let me show you some of the other attempts that I made while I was making this video. This was attempt number 1. I wasn't very proud of that. In fact, it didn't even brown that nice. This was attempt number, I don't know, number 4. I don't even know what the heck this is. What are those, mushrooms? Anyway, and then this one I used a different pan, and it was okay, but we came down to this one, and this was easily the best version. So, yeah guys, very happy to share this with you on my 100th episode. Very, very happy.
So, thanks again for joining me. Wait a minute, there's something missing. Okay, yeah, that's better. Alright, so thank you for joining us for 100 episodes. Anyway, got our cake, and let's blow out the candles. Ready?
Yep.
1, 2. Yay!
Happy 100th!
Thank you. Okay, anybody want some cake?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Alright, cool.
In case you're wondering, this is the sweet cornbread that I made a while ago. Anyway guys, thank you again, and as usual, I hope you all enjoyed this one. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.